All right, what's going on? First off, let me say, I hope that everybody that's watching this is having a great day. Every day that you wake up, you're blessed, bro. If you woke up and you can see with both of your eyes, bro, that's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful. But, anyways, today I got a very special topic that I would like to introduce to y'all. It's a topic called spiral dynamics. Now, first off, I'm going to explain what spiral dynamics is, and then I'm going to explain why it's important, and then for the beef of the video, we're going to be talking about the whole theory behind it and how you can apply it to your own life to further understand people and larger systems. So, first off, let me explain why, uh, not why it's important, let me explain what it is. So, basically, what spiral dynamics is, it's how humans psychologically evolve collectively and individually. So, a group of scientists have been researching basically human development and just been tracking it across societies and on an individual level to come up with this massive theory of human development. And this is a very, very accurate model of showing how humans evolve psychologically. And this is it's very big in the space of evolutionary psychology. This model. If you want to look further into it, there's a whole book written about it. But without further ado, let me explain to you why it's important to study this. Like why should I care about this in the first place? Why is this going to benefit me? Well, understanding this model can help you very easily identify, you know, uh, it helps you identify like people's values first of all, and it honestly gives you such a greater understanding of the world at large, because you have to understand like not only individuals evolve, but like as individuals evolve, like societies evolve, because all the society is, it's a big collective of individuals. So the reason why it's important to understand this is it helps you understand why people think in a certain way, and it will also help you understand yourself, because you're going to find out during the course of this video that you yourself are actually at one of these stages, and it's going to help you understand why you value certain things and then why you are kind of opposed to other certain things. It's a very cool model, and I think as we uh, go along in this video, you're going to really understand what I'm talking about. It might sound very vague right now, and you might have no idea what I'm saying right now, but that's okay. I encourage you to just stick with me throughout this video, because I think you're really going to gain something valuable here, and I'm going to try my best to explain it in the best way possible, in a way that you can easily understand it. Um, so I guess I think that I've explained enough why it's important. Let me get straight into it. So as you can see, with the spiral dynamics model, we got these different stages right here. Let me break down this image right here. I know you might have been looking at it a little bit, so let me break it down. So these are the different, I guess you could call it, levels. So these are the levels of psychological evolution. As you grow psychologically, you will go from one level to the next. So you would evolve from beige to purple, then you would go to red, blue, orange, and green. Now, the interesting part about this model is it's very accurate in the fact that you will have to pass through this stage to get to that stage for most of the time. There are rare instances where you might have a person say that goes from blue to green, right? But oftentimes you can't really move all the way from blue to green without having a little bit of orange. Um, Honestly, like that's it's very like it's very accurate in that you have to pass through each stage. It's a very, very accurate model, but let me stop hyping it up and let me actually explain it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain each stage, stage by stage, okay? And yeah, let me just get right into it. So every human, as they're born, we are born into the first stage, which is beige. And you can see right here, newborn child right there. So, the way of thinking as beige is it's very basic. It's like almost like an animal. It's very animalistic, and yeah, it's just very basic, like survival needs and things of this nature. And also another interesting thing about spiral dynamics that I'm going to explain as we go along is as you evolve up the stages, you go from being egocentric, only caring about yourself, to caring about others more, basically. So with every stage, you care more about the other person and other societies and so forth. Um, so also, like, let me just explain these real quick. The epochs, I don't really know what this means, to be honest. I don't know what epoch means, but let's just skip that because I have no idea what that means. We got moral development down here, so you can see, as I was just explaining, this is egocentric. And then cognitive development, which is like a psychological thing. I'm only really going to explain this because, to be honest with you, I don't really understand the epochs or the cognitive development aspects of this, but I have a very good understanding of the spiral dynamics aspect of this, which is what we're going to be mainly talking about today. I really love this topic so much. I find it so fascinating. But as we evolve from beige to purple, we become more tribalistic. So let me also explain, from each stage that you move up, it goes from individual to collective. So from beige, you're going from an only caring about yourself as like just that singular baby to your tribe. Now, as a child, you got to understand, when you're first born, you only care about yourself, right? But then you start to discover, oh, hey, there's mom and dad, there's a family. So that's when you would move more into purple. And, purple is, like I said, just tribalistic. Their way of thinking is very magical. If you've ever seen tribes in Africa or like just indigenous tribes anywhere, they think the world is very mysterious and it works in a magical way. So yeah, like tribal villages, aborigines, and tribal chiefs would all be examples of purple. Um, and they believe in like spirits and like stuff like this. They believe in like rituals and things like that. And we can see like examples of purple still today, but it's very rare in the world today because our society, as a global population, we've evolved a long way from purple. Like purple was like the caveman days where you would like see a group of hunter gatherers and that would be like their tribe. And the thing about tribes as well, uh, they're very like, it's only my tribe. Like I only care about me and my tribe. Any other tribe, that's my enemy and I want to kill them. And like these earlier stages are very ruthless in that aspect. But anyways, as you go from purple to red, uh, red is more of once again, red is it's going from collective to individual. So that's a pattern that repeats itself in spiral dynamics. So red, think about like the movie like Goodfellas and like mafia movies. Those people are perfect examples of stage red. It's power hungry, and it's more focused on, how do I explain it? Like the reason why you would evolve from purple to red is because okay, it's like, sure, the tribe is nice and all, but I want power for myself. It's when you start to say, I want more, I want more. It's that internal need that every human, especially men, have for power. And men are more prone to being in stage red than women, just because men are more power hungry. And like, yeah, that's just a fact. So examples of red would be terrorists, tyrants, the Roman Empire, and the Mongol Empire. Now, red is really ruthless. Like another example of stage red would be, I forgot his name, but that Middle Eastern guy that we killed, that America killed. I forgot his name, but his sons were like super ruthless. That's a perfect example of stage red. I'm actually gonna pull it up right now. I think it was Osama bin Laden's sons. I think. Yeah, one of his sons was super ruthless. This is actually a good example, so I'm gonna pull it up. Uh, okay, I don't know exactly which one it was, but I remember I watched a documentary, and one of Osama bin Laden's sons was just ruthless as fuck. Like, one time, like, he was throwing a party. So he was throwing a party, and then, one of like he thought it was too loud. One of the sons, but the father, Osama bin Laden, was throwing a party for something. I don't know what it was, and everybody was like super drunk and turned up. And this one guy was drunk, and like the son told him to quiet down. Right? He's like, this party needs to end now. And the guy was like, no, no, I'm enjoying myself. Osama said it was fine, and they literally beat him to death, like on site, just beat him to death in front of everybody, and just brutally. And that's a perfect example of stage red. Like, you really just don't give a fuck about anybody except for yourself, and maybe you're like close family, but even to your close family, you're a dickhead. Um, yeah, that basically explains stage red. Now, and also like a lot of like crime in America, just criminals in general, are just stage red. Prison inmates, this is all examples of stage red, right? And I'd like to say also, like, it's I don't really like judging people based on their stage. Like, if you're up here, it's not good to like judge people down here because everybody is at their stage for a reason, Like, if you're up here, it's probably just because you had a nice childhood, you had a nice upbringing, and stuff like this. Um, but yeah, let's just continue onwards. Um, so the next stage above red is stage blue. Now, blue, the perfect example of blue, just in general, is just religion. Okay, and religion can exist at these higher stages as well, but absolutist religion and super dogmatic religion exists at stage blue. Now, if you're a religious person and you're watching this, please don't get triggered. And I'm not trying to come at any religious people, um, but hear me out. It's like the way you look at religion, because a lot of religious people, they believe like just they don't really question their religion and they just believe it dogmatically. And this is the perfect example of blue. So with red moving to blue, you're moving on to the collective once again. Um, Examples of this would just be like Judaism, uh, Islam, and Christianity. Now with blue, you care more about others. You go from caring about only yourself to others, and like police officers are also stage blue. The thing with blue is like they really love law and order. Like they really love the rules and they need to follow the rules absolutely. And if you don't follow the rules, then you're a sinner and you're with the devil, basically. That's like the perfect example of like what stage blue is. It's absolute rules and I must follow the rules, you know. I have to repent to get into heaven. I have to follow the Bible. I have to follow the Quran. And like the Middle East is very stage blue. You got India, Islam, like the other religions. Like I said, I guess Soviet communism would be blue as well. I don't really know. I didn't make this model. I'm just kind of reading it. And Hitler was like in between stage red and blue. He was just on the cusp of it. Um, so yeah, I feel like I explained blue pretty well. Blue countries would be like countries like Poland, like religious countries. Now with blue, it's very good because you start to have some values in blue and you start to actually care about other people and consider other people. So it's definitely a huge step up from red. Now, with blue, the next stage is orange. Now this is where things start to get interesting and like you'll start to see a lot of examples of this in our society. Our society, specifically in Western culture, is in this area like very heavily. Um, the more evolved places like Northern Europe are more over here. With America, we were like kind of over here in some states and then sort of over here in other states. It's a big mixture of orange and blue and orange and green. There's a lot of people in this area um, in Western society today. Um, Less developed countries would be more so in this area, in the blue zone, and then some countries that still have like dictatorships would be in stage red. Now, orange. Orange, the perfect example of orange, think about capitalistic America. This is like literally the epitome of orange. Orange is all about fame, fortune, sex, money, drugs, all of these values and all the degeneracy you see in America today. It's all stage orange, okay? Stage orange is all about like self-improvement and really it's very individualistic. Like, but the difference is with red, like it's a very savage form of like individualism. Like, but with orange, it's more so like a capitalistic sort of individualism and more of like a self-improvement. Like I want to improve myself and be my best version. I want to be independent. With blue, moving to orange, you're kind of claiming a sense of independence for yourself. So good examples of orange would be like Wall Street, like I was saying, like capitalistic America just in general. It's very stage orange. USA, like I was saying. Conservatives are like right in between blue and orange, and China is also in between blue and orange. So with blue moving to orange, you're going from like this law and order and it's very like rigid structure into more freedom. Honestly, like orange is more of like freedom, like more like expressive, and with orange, you're going from like more of a rigid religious point of view in the world, and you're moving more into like science and like orange people really value like science and rationality and materialism and things like this. So I think a lot of people watching this are stage orange, and if you grew up in America, then most likely a huge part of your psyche would be in stage orange. Like me myself, I know a lot of myself is in stage orange, and even for myself, I hover around this zone, more so this zone, just like this area in general. This is kind of where I'm at. I'd say I'm probably uh, a majority of me is here and here, with a little bit being in yellow and a tiny bit being in blue. A tiny bit, I'd say. Maybe like more so in this area, to be honest. This zone. This is where I'm at. And I'm not just saying that to like toot my own horn. That's just genuinely where I think I am. So with orange to green, there's a lot of negative results of orange. And I would also like to say right here, there's like with every stage, there's negative, what's the word? Like there's negative expressions of every stage and there's positive expressions of every stage. But as you go up the spiral, it becomes more positive and positive. And as you've noticed, there's a pattern of becoming at the lesser stages more egocentric, and you're moving more to a more global perspective and more caring about others as you go up the spiral. So there's continuous patterns with the spiral. It's very fascinating. So with orange, you care about all this materialism. You've earned some personal success for yourself, but it's very shallow. Chasing money, chasing sex, materialism. You want the baddest bitch. You want the hottest wife. It gets very shallow after a certain point. So you want to care more about community once again, and that's where you go from stage orange to stage green. And once again, you're going from the individual to, you know, what do you what a the individual to a community. So with stage green, the perfect example of stage green would be hippies. um, yeah, like think about like the counterculture movement in the 60s in the United States. That was the perfect example of stage green. So we got like places like California, New York City, Canada. These are all like very good examples of green. Scandinavia, those Northern Europe countries. A lot of universities in the United States and in general are very stage green. Um, so with stage green, what does stage green value? Well, green really values peace, love, and harmony, um, basically. And honestly, like with these higher stages, I'm gonna have like more of a hard time explaining them because I don't really fully understand them myself. Um, but yeah, sage green values more of community. Think about like hippies, like hanging out together, doing psychedelics. They care more about like spirituality. They're moving from like religion or rigid structure religion to spirituality, and they care about like free love and veganism and save the planet. They care about like the environment now, and now they care about different cultures. Being and they're very multi perspectival. Okay, you're going from blue, which was a very rigid. Okay, only one thing is right, to green, which is okay. Uh, Maybe some things are right in Buddhism, and there's some things I can take from Buddhism and also from Islam, and like everybody's peaceful, and it's like global peace and like shit like this. This is like the perfect example of stage green. Okay. Now with stage yellow, once again it's more individualistic, but with stage yellow, this is the first time you're actually aware that the whole spiral exists. So before you reach stage yellow, every stage thinks they're right. When you're at stage purple, you think purple is the only way. At red, red is the only way, and so forth. But when you reach yellow, you realize, okay, every stage is here for a reason, and I respect that. And yellow, I don't really have the best idea of yellow right now because I'm it's a very hard stage to get to, and only like 1% of the population, or even less than that, is at yellow. Now, yellow, it's really, like I was saying, green was multi-perspectival, but yellow is very, very multi-perspectival. And they just look at everything and they say, okay, they integrate it. They say, okay, what can I take from everything? You know? And they're very systems orientated. They're system thinkers. Okay. That's really all I can say for yellow because I kind of have a trouble explaining it. I'd say I'm only like 1% yellow, if that. Most of my psyche is right here. But yeah, so that's the model. I hope you enjoyed my explanation of it. I hope it makes sense. Um, yeah. So how can you use this? Well, you can identify if someone's say in blue and orange, and you can start to identify like their values very easily. And if you identify that you're in a certain stage, then you can become more aware of like, okay, I want my friends to be in this stage as well, so they push my values forward, and we have the same values. Okay. So I'm gonna end this video right here. I hope y'all enjoyed my explanation of it, and I hope you gained some value from it. Comment below what you want me to make a video on next, and I'll consider it. All right. Have a blessed day.